Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman. We're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Joseph Coleman is in the house. I don't think you and I have done a show together, have we?
We have not. No, this is the first Coleman broadcast, so it's exciting. I'm happy to do it with you. Lance can't be here. Katie's on her honeymoon, and we got a bunch of stuff to still talk about, so I'm glad I'm here.
We do, and spoiler alert, and I'm out tomorrow, so Joseph, you're flying solo tomorrow. You and John Riosti.
John Riosti's, I think he makes me look pretty good. So,
hey, let's go. We appreciate your questions during the week. We will hit those last week. Our purpose today is to give you an update of where we are. Another spoiler alert. We're speculating on some of this stuff, but let's go into it. When will an additional PPP stimulus, whether we call it HEROES, PPP4, be passed? This is just personal. What do you think?
Majority after the recess, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still, put me in this week. I still think it may happen. We have an inside report we're going to talk about next week. I have no issue with those two. I certainly hope it's not after the recess. I hope it's done before then. I believe it will be. That's interesting. No one said it will not be approved, so that's good news. So I think those are very honest and good response. Number two, there's $128 billion with a B left over from PPP. Do you think we'll extend that past August 8th? Yes, we have. Come on.
71%. I know it's moving slow. 71% say yes, 25% no, 4% I don't know. I think I'm in the yes category as well.
Yeah, I agree. I've never seen a program Congress. I've never seen Congress leave money on the table, and they're not going to start now. So, yeah. I know some of us have PPP fatigue. I understand that. The question is, are they going to roll that over into the next stimulus phase, or they'll just simply extend PPP? The concern we have is beginning August 10th, we're supposed to be able to submit forgiveness packages, but we still don't have the final on that, on what the dollar amounts are and that. So I think we will see that being extended. Our last question. In general, how do you feel? Let me read the right question, Joseph. In general, how do your borrowers feel about their future economic growth? You have that poll question there, Joseph? You got the old one up.
Oh,
there we go.
I think.
And you.
I think there was a glitch. Sorry, folks. We'll run that tomorrow again. We just launched it and it closed real quick, but we'll try that again tomorrow. Yeah.
I think what's important is we don't decide the winners and the losers on this, but there are winners and losers, and I believe we should have an understanding in our geographic footprint of who are the winners and who are the losers. And if you have a restaurant borrower, to find out some are able to adapt and they're able to do the dine out. Southern California, they've taken over the streets and put people on tables. Actually, that's sort of fun. Anyway, we will ask that question tomorrow. Joseph, what's going on? We have a couple sources. We don't want to name our source for obvious issues. That person wants to be stealthy. But what do we know as of Wednesday, August 5th?
What we heard is that they do not expect a larger SBA package. That was the terminology that she used, meaning if HELOS are a P4 or something new, they are running it, and she doesn't expect anything by Friday, and probably likely not to have anything of substance until after Labor Day. She said that the Senate Small Business Committee is meeting today in talks to hotline the extension of PPP, though. And we should have more information later this afternoon, and we'll cover it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, if we get that, we'll send that out as a blast. The bottom line is they are working, they're talking. Everything up to now has been bipartisan. I don't see that changing, even though there's grumblings and the sniping, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's, we'll see what happens on that. Tell us about the numbers. Oh, wait a minute. I want to say, yeah, Senator Rubio continues to hold meetings, and, you know, they're working hard on this. So hopefully,
and we just got another question about auto forgiveness under 150. I think that's what is being discussed for the larger package. And again, we have the FAQs that come out, and it's trickling in left and right, but it's not exactly what we've been waiting for. We've been talking about the last couple of months. So
what are the numbers? We're over 5 million loans for
5,083,000 loans, 5,400 lenders, which is you and Chris talked about if there's going to be any carryover for PPP lenders that are new to start into 7A and 504. I think that'd be a good fit. $521 billion since April 15th. And the amount of funding remaining is $120 billion through Saturday, August 8th is the official extension. And so if they don't do anything, then I don't know what, I don't want to speculate on what those funds, but the program ends on Saturday.
Yeah, well, this is obviously, it's a moving target. Things are changing on a daily basis. Our job is just to give you an update of where we are on that. Hey, we decided just to do a little recap of the polls and where we are. Joseph, what are some of the highlights?
I think the big stuff is the uncertainty. I think the polls highlight that 12% of lenders are accepting forgiveness applications. That's, incredibly low. 17 plan on offering a second try. I think when you see the 120 billion left over and half the lenders are not even accepting applications, I think there's something missing with that program. And then a quarter of lenders think Congress will pass the next MB4. So again, a majority think it's going to, something major is going to happen after Labor Day. So I think what Chris said yesterday is contact your representatives. I think that's a great point. It's a different talking point than what the trade organizations offer, and they like to hear from the lenders directly. So.
And then we're not knocking the trade organizations. They have an important role on that, is that they can give a consensus. Look, trade organizations do the big picture, give the consensus in the industry, whatever. Your job is to give micro. Hey, we're helping Bill's muffler shop, Sally's auto repair, and they employ X amount of people. So we're not minimizing that at all. We're simply saying there's different roles for different functions. Okay. Let's see. We got a bunch of questions. First of all, Kim, thank you for your kind words. Sadly, I keep on getting emails from people who are in the hospital, and it's everyone out there. Let's stay safe, and for those of you who we're not going to name names, but you know who some of these people are, and get well.
Yeah,
I did not have COVID, but I had nasty stuff as well. Hey, great question from Marcus. Marcus wants to know, we want to do a stress test. We want to come up with reserves, and we want to come up with the number for repairs and denials. And thank you for purchasing our data from us. Is there any information? Here's the problem, Marcus. A, we don't have the data. B, the underlying data will show if there's a denial, it actually shows on the data as paid in full because the lender releases SBA from the guarantee. So it goes into SBA's books as a paid in full. A repair is simply reflected in the dollar amount of the loss of SBA. So we can't figure out how much of that is collateral liquidation recovery and how much of that is a repair. I do know that, and I'll follow up on this, Marcus. We got this earlier. In their annual reports, the numbers that I hear are about 95%. SBA will honor 95% of their guarantees. Again, we don't have a breakout of how much of those are repairs and denials. And I would, what I would do, if you have a large enough portfolio, and I don't know what the sample size is, I'm not a statistician, but if you have a large enough portfolio, I would just base it on historical numbers. I've made some notes. We'll try to, Marcus, these are great questions. We get asked this from time to time. We'll try to come up with some sort of consensus, some sort of benchmark, but that's going to rely on lender input, and it is not in the underlying data. So thank you very much for that discussion. Hey, let's see. We got John. What happened to Kim?
Oh, let me see.
I mean, we can go to John's question. I don't know.
Go to John's question, and then we'll.
All right. Is there any provisions in the next generation of the PPP loan if it passes to disconnect the ability of the lending institution to recognize income? John, I know what I've talked to some lenders. Basically, the consensus is we're going to be able to recognize this income in calendar year 2020. I'm talking about the income from the PPP fees. That's obviously an individual decision between your accountants, your regulators, your CFO. There is no specific guidance on this, but the intent is you've done the work. There's no contingent liability, and I would have some sort of powwow with the powers that be. But the consensus I get from talking to people is, do we report this income in the June quarter, the September quarter, or end of the year? And the majority of them say, hey, we're going to be able to report this income this year, if that helps.
We'll go to Kim's question next. I got it up.
Oh, I'm sorry. And this is one that we're going to hold this over till Friday. I'm going to let Lance weigh in on this because we keep on getting different interpretations of this. And again, we're sort of waiting on final guidance. You say we're waiting on additional guidance for forgiveness. Are you speaking to possible changes? Yeah. The big change we're waiting for, Kevin, is what is the dollar amount that the borrower and the lender don't have to do any documentation? We do know anything over $2 million better be documented. You're going to require to do that. Again, but that's a small percentage of the overall loan portfolio. We think it's going to be under 150. That seems to be the consensus. I know American Banker, they want a little bit higher. ICBA want higher levels. I hear 350, 1 million. I don't think 1 million is going to happen. Possibly. Now we're speculating. It's going to happen. There is going to be a threshold. If I had to guess, I say 150. Joseph, you've been doing some research.
The one thing I can say for certain is the $2 million benchmark has been stated by SBA. Every loan over $2 million will be personally reviewed by SBA. That's from the Connect Call PowerPoint that we got a couple days ago.
Okay. Let's see. We have our webinar this afternoon. We're going to talk about construction lending in these interesting times. We're specifically going to address some of the changes SBA wants. The guidance came for 504 lenders, but I certainly would incorporate that guidance for 504 in your 7A credit memo. We'll talk about that. And as soon as we get firm dates, we'll come up with these other topics. We are going to revise the 159. I think that's probably a good revision, especially with the PPP4, lack of a better term. If we're paying fees, make sure we're documenting that right. And I always love doing the webinar and calculating cash flow the SBA way. It's because it is different than normal underwriting. There's some things SBA requires us to do as SBA lenders that we're not doing for conventional loans. And one last push, please. If you want to keep your C-suite involved and you want your board of directors, we've come up with a little top 10 things they need to know. We're going to be publishing August this week, and that's unlimited. So you can send it to whoever you want at your institution. And we don't care who you send it to. Obviously, PDF. You send it to your CPAs. You can send it to the board, whoever in your institution you think they would be interested. And what we do is we put it into bite-sized bits, so it's not a 12-page detailed. It's just, hey, these are the 10 things that should be on your radar. And that's what we're doing with that. Well, very good. Any more questions, Michael or Joseph?
I think there's a question about getting guidance before the portal opens on Monday for forgiveness. I think stay tuned. We'll have more tomorrow. I think the Senate Small Business Committee
This afternoon.
Yeah, well, they're talking today, and they're trying to get as much done as possible. So contact your representatives and try to push for that as well. So
hey, we appreciate your support. Thank you for joining us. As I said, I will be out tomorrow. So Joseph, make us proud. Well, John Riosti's obviously he's our inside guy in Washington, and he'll bring us up to date on what's going on with that. And I'll see you all on Friday. Thank you for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.
have a good day, everyone. Bye.